किसान विरोधी काले कानून रद्द करो
किसानों की जमीन ही ले गए. That's really sad.
First of all, we'll have to look at it that the political agenda which everyone is talking about can be elections, but I'm not going to contest. See, at this point of time, what we need is a serious reconciliation process. What has happened? It's become a deadlock. Let's not break it with action. Let's break it with dialogue, and that dialogue probably will resolve the deadlock.
किसान का भाईचारा जिंदाबाद
This community has minimum resources, and in terms of exposure also, they are not as good as anybody sitting in the city or the corporate world is. Until you don't protect them, they're not going to survive. Passive resistance always works good for the people. Manas ki jaat sab ek ko pehchan ho, that recognize the entire human race as one. And this is what we live by. And this is what we believe in.
Thank you, Deep, for joining in at India Podcast. It's a real honor to have you with us today.
Thank you so much.
So, Deep, now this fight has taken another shape. It was an ongoing thing for years and years, to tell you. But in the protest that was marching to Delhi, and they met, first round of meeting, if I can say, has happened, but no satisfaction, no hope seems to be generated among the farmers. Can you tell us your view about that?
While we were in Punjab protesting, so the first two meetings happened during that period, but there was no, again, solution, or there was nothing offered by the government, and they were not even looking at it, genuinely, because they are not probably able to understand the gravity of the situation at the moment.
True.
So what's happening is, even now, when the farmers went and had a meeting, nothing came out of it. Only a suggestion that, okay, we'll make probably a committee, and then, government will send their representatives, the farmers will take their representatives, and then they'll start the dialogue. See, at this point of time, what we need is a serious reconciliation process, and also understand the every aspect of or every effect in terms of whatever people are, fearing, or they are feeling threatened because of these new farm bills. So until you have a serious reconciliation, until you make your agroeconomists sit, until you make the economists sit, until you make, the legal mindset, and then the farmers, the union leadership and the senior leadership from the government side, I think till then, if I don't think so that there will be some kind of solution, or there will be some kind of, way out from this lock, which at this point of time, what has happened, it's become a deadlock. So from this deadlock, if we have to break, let's not break it with action. Let's break it with dialogue, and that dialogue probably will resolve the deadlock.
So when we're talking about breaking with dialogue, you mean to say that you want different groups to sit together, not just the ministry people or just the bureaucrats. Are you suggesting that it is not going to work out with one meeting, the series might help, or the arrangement of meeting is not convincing for you?
Yeah, see, two things. One, arrangement of meeting has to be looked into, because what happened today, when we talk about farm bills or farm laws now, the new legislation has different aspects. It has a legal aspect, it has economical aspect, and it has a cultural aspect as well, right? So when we talk about three different aspects, and then people are feeling threatened that their land is going to go away, and which is a reality, because the corporatization, wherever it happened, whatever sector it happened in, the result over there in every other sector was also that the individual players got, completely diminished, or they disappeared, in the process. So here, small-time farmers, small-time these market, what do you call it, facilitators, they are going to,
Intermediaries.
yeah, they are going to get diminished, or they are going to get eliminated from the
Yes.
process. So the whole, there is, like I said, there is a legal aspect to it. So we need legal experts.
Okay.
So, and constitutional experts, right? Because the dispute resolution which they are suggesting is also not convincing, because farmer cannot even go to a court of law. So which is
Yes.
really surprising. If there is a dispute between the guy who's buying and the farmer in a contract farming, and then what happened, and this is a new legislation, okay,
True.
it promotes the contract farming.
Yes.
Then what happened? The way APMC Act was protecting the farmer till date, you know,
Yes.
we needed reforms in the APMC Act, but instead, what happened? The new legislation has come, and nobody talked about those reforms because farmers were already in crisis. So, so APMC Act, under that, there was some kind of a revenue which APMCs would collect because they were facilitating the farmers in terms of their crop, in terms of how it is getting sold. And that revenue, um, the government used to spend on the rural development, on roads, on, the other
The
infrastructure,
infrastructure development. Yes.
yeah, the rural infrastructure development.
Yes.
So that is a major revenue loss. So
Hmm.
where is going to come from? It's going to go from our pockets only. That means there'll
Yes.
be,
As a taxpayer. Yes.
yeah, multi taxation regime, like the way they started. So another tax will come, and then it'll be a burden on us. And another thing which we have to also consider, that today market or MSP, minimum support prices, it's become irrelevant in such a structure. So the farmer is not feeling protected. They are not protected in terms of how they are going to grow the crop, where are they going to sell it, and under what governance they are going to sell it, who's going to monitor the whole process. See, until you do not protect this community, which has minimum resources, and in terms of exposure also, they are not as good as what anybody sitting in the city or the corporate world is. You know, until you don't protect them, they're not going to survive.
Deep, you also have a problem there too. Also, if you would want to talk about it, when you speak about federal structure, that's where it picked up from. When you were making that conversation or banter to say that it's a state subject again, agriculture. So, do you think center coming into the subject itself has become a major issue, that they should not step into a state subject because each state can arrange, some are rich into the resource and facilitating the benefits like Punjab, Haryana, UP, and Bengal to an extent to say so, because they have already stood by that agricultural space for so long. So, do you think that particular issue, that a state subject should not have been handled like this by center, is also a major contention here?
Absolutely. You see, let's understand. See, if it is a state subject, they should not get into it. But what they are saying, that we did not touch the state subject. We made new legislation in
Through
uh,
entry,
in
different, yeah,
in the in the
33.
in the subject which is trade and commerce, which is
Yes.
again under the central government. So what happens? But it has a direct link with the state subject, which is agriculture. So then if there is a conflict between the state subject and a center subject, or a union subject, so that conflict, if it arises, then the union will have a overriding effect on the decision which they make. So this has come from trade and commerce, which they are defending. So what we have to look at, why federal structure, or why we talk about that it has to be a much stronger federal structure within a union, rather having a unitary form of government. See, the kind of government is getting, the kind of government structure we are in at the moment, it is serving the majority, and there are few laws or programs. When the government gives those programs, sometimes minorities feel threatened, sometimes different cultural diversities feel threatened. See, time and again we keep facing such situations. So what I'm saying, until you distribute the power, to the states, to the districts, to even village level, then, and if in this unitary form of government, the concentration of power is a very authoritative kind of a system. After they concentrate or centralize a power, they personalize it, which we all know that it runs from PMO. That's democracy is not that, or the true meaning of a democracy is not that. If we talk about that it is by the people, for the people, of the people, then where is it existing today? So many of us are saying that it is not good for us, kindly take it back. They should have taken it back, they should have given a consideration, right? But it's not happening. So that's why I referred it to a federal structure. Let's understand, tomorrow they'll make another law, or another law. It'll suit a section, but it probably won't suit another section, because we are living in such a diverse country where there is cultural diversity, environmental diversity, land behaves different, people behave different, biodiversity. How can you run one program and say that, okay, it's going to serve the entire nation in a good way? Sometimes it doesn't. So when it doesn't, so that section starts retaliating, or they
Rebelling.
start, yeah. So which we are not addressing to, but then we isolate them, we call them anti-nationals, and then we use violence to snub them. See where we are going. So let's not be that insensitive. Let's make our judgments based on what reality is, and it's multi-dimensional, always.
And Deep, I have to bring this in here that you have made there was rather a question from all the people who've been watching you for so long on all the interviews, that you were one who used this word, which is a little technical there, passive resistance, while you were there with the farmers. So can you just decode for people to understand, when you say, are you talking about a non-violent approach, like you guys are saying, let's
Absolutely.
protest? And what do you
Yes.
exactly mean in that sense?
Yeah. See, what happened was, when an agitation starts, what you have to see that more and more people become part of it. Okay, and less energy is getting wasted. Then only people will come and become a part of it. So what do you have to make sure that you have a passive resistance, in terms of your resistance should not be active, or you should not um,
Take to
destroy.
violence?
Yeah, I mean, destroy public property. You should not disrupt, public convenience. You should not create such an atmosphere where the violence erupts. So these are certain probably parameters that one should keep in mind when you are in an agitation. So passive resistance always works good for the people, because one, you are getting more and more people to join an agitation. You're making them aware, your narrative is getting thrown out into the people, and their energy is not getting wasted. See what happens. First, you have to make sure that it becomes people's movement, right?
Okay.
So for that, you need a lot of them coming, and they can only they'll only come if they relate to the narrative we are throwing. So what happens? That's what we've done. First, we gathered all of them, made them aware where we stand in terms of these new farm laws, this legislation, which they themselves were feeling. So it's just not an economic distress, that it's going to cause. It's going to threaten a culture as well. And the culture, what we are known for, Indians are known for. And it resides in the villages, which we are very well aware of. Till date, it resides in the villages. Cities are very metropolitan or cosmopolitan kind of culture, which we have adapted. But see, go live in the villages. It's a different life altogether.
Totally.
Where you'll be so proud that, oh, this is what our cultural diversity is. And that's where unity lies. So now what happens when they relate to your narrative, and then, you have to take a step forward, and then go to a next phase of the agitation, where the call was to go to Delhi and start agitating. Start your agitation process, or start the whole process of peaceful agitation there.
Yes.
And that's where we were going, because while we were sitting in Punjab, Haryana, parts of Haryana, today look at it: UP, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, even MP, all these guys are part of it.
So it's mobilized a larger group that way.
Yes, the farmers have come from Gujarat over here. So look at
But
it. now
But
it is becoming a national and international movement. So it
and
only had the potential because the resistance was very passively handled, not an
yes.
active resistance. Because that's when you give an opportunity to your opposition to use a crackdown policy on you.
And you have joined this movement. You have been more of looked at as pulling the crowd because of your own presence that you've created in the creative world. People have come attached to you. More youngsters have started following on to it if they were not. But how are you looking at your role playing out till now in this protest? Because you suddenly came out from this different world and you're standing up for a social cause. It's not taken quite in the spirit all the time. It's like, okay,
First of all, we'll have to look at it that the political agenda, which everyone is talking about, can be elections. But I'm not going to contest the elections. You understand? So because if I'm trying to throw a narrative that center-state relationship or a federal structure has to be in place in this country for us to live more peacefully,
yes.
then I cannot be part of the politics or the unitary politics which already is
True.
going on. So my struggle would be to establish probably a different kind of structure which uh, would be so peaceful and it'll be so harmonious in a way that more of brotherhood will probably come out of it. Second thing, what happens? I come from a farmer's background. I come from a
Yes,
farmer
which has
family.
been questioned also. Like, is he the farmer's son actually? So we saw a lot
Yes,
of people asking that.
yes, I am, and I myself, I mean, all the time I'm in the farm fields, and I know everything how we grow crops, what we have to do with it, and then how we sow it, and then where are we going to get procurement of different tools, what we need for farming, and I have a land which is on under my name, an agricultural land. So that is technical thing of it, that I'm from that family. But what happens, anybody who comes from Punjab has a close association with agriculture. Let's understand that. We cannot take that away. And I, the kind of human being I am, I have a little bit of this side of me where I like to stand by my people. I like to stand, by the right side, and then be it, today we are fighting against the state, but then I would like to take that chance and then, raise my voice as that, okay, this is what right is. And a true patriot would always or criticize the government wherever they're going wrong, and that's where I come from. Otherwise, as far as, that's how we've become that somebody, we feel that everyone has some kind of agenda and that's why they're doing it, but no, you know, the way we've been taught, the way I've been brought up, that there are no agendas. It's just that you got to stand by your people. And then I did not know that in the middle of the night, that video is going to go so
Totally,
viral,
totally.
So, and then it's going to just change the whole game. Though I was known within my own state, like Punjab, so I had my like some kind of following there, but then it was not nationwide. Now look at it. I'm not saying that people are following me, but then the way somebody is criticizing, somebody is appreciating.
Yes.
So it's just that you being discussed. But that was not my purpose. We are here for a cause and we are still here. We always see, we need to understand. Politics is not that you join vote politics and you're a part of it. Politics is also that you are active socially and you are
Totally.
struggling to challenge the system wherever it is going wrong. So that social part of it, wherever the system is going to go wrong, I'm always going to be part of it. But
Deep,
I'm
if I give you this moment to just say, I know it's not important or maybe important, that is there a regret that sometimes when we say certain words, it's quite understood differently or maybe not said in that immediate context of talking about a particular group? Like there have been allegations of being Khalistani supporter and all that. Those terms have come out because some word must have been spoken which was taken. So do you think that something has been blown out of understanding, or you meant when you stood by those fundamental belief into a certain ideology, because you were questioned on the ideology whether you supported BJP ideology when you support your friend Sunny Deol, or whether you're supporting the Khalistani or Khalistani ideology when you're saying fundamental, the federal structure. Did you think over like that when you had said that those words which were not understood, or was it just in the moment that you wanted to make a point for the cause of it?
Reality is multidimensional. Let's understand that, right?
True.
Today, if we talk about Khalistan or we talk about Hindu Rashtra, what is it? It's a political demand, right? Which has lot to do with people's aspiration. It's a political issue. Now, what happens if a political issue is judged without knowing that aspiration behind it? That's where we make a mistake.
The
Or
intention behind it, the aspiration and the intention. Is that what you say?
intention, yes. See, aspiration builds, or it has some kind of a backstory always. It doesn't just happen like that. So you need to understand that black backstory. You need to understand what happened at that point of time. Today, why Hindu Rashtra a narrative is getting, established in a country where all of us, we feel that no, this is not what we are. Why Khalistan narrative got established, and all of you feel that that is anti-national. I mean, trust me, anybody living outside Punjab, it became a taboo. It became such a strong word. Oh, you're using this word. But, we forget, or we fail to understand that this aspiration is born on the basis of something. It doesn't just come in air. It's just not over there and somebody's just talking about it. It has some kind of foundation. And that foundation, why it happened, what was the reason, what was that whole reality, one has to look into it seriously. And that needs serious discussion, serious consideration, so that there are fundamentalists, there are liberals, there is
Extremists.
extremists, right wing, left wing, all these guys can be brought in.
Yes. And
And
you're not
they
fanning any one of them for sure. You're not
no,
fanning,
no,
you're not siding any
no.
one of
The thing is, I'll tell you something. I always, advocate humanity. That's what we've been taught by Guru Nanak Dev Ji and our gurus, Sarbat da Pala. That, and then we've been taught that Manas ki jaat sabe ko pehchan bo, that recognize the entire human race as one. And this is what we live by. And this is what we believe in. Now, it is a problem in the modern world that they tag us, or they label you with some kind of ideology or some kind of, and that's where they make you a prisoner of some kind of ideology which is not even there, which is not even the reality, and you are far away from it. But that's how modern world behaves, and that's where we are.
Before I have to let you go, I've got a caller. She's a student. So many people wrote to us. I just took one, and she wants to ask you one question because they are mass comm students. I have Chetna there. She's from Delhi, and she has one question for you.
Hello. Hi.
Hi,
Yeah, I've been
how are
listening
you?
to the conversation, and I think I have so much to kind of reflect back and look back and hear it, and it's been really great. So there were like, I think it's a two-part question. So first of all, I wanted to know, so whenever we've seen a protest broke out or anything, any movement for say, there is a movement happening in the physical space, but at the same time, it is taking place in the social media circle,
Yeah.
right? So how has it been for you? Has your social media kind of been really receptive of your opinions of whatever you've been doing on field, or has it gone like the other way and you've just like been trolled or having receiving really bad negative comments, or even like something as bad as a death threat or anything like that?
See, what happens first, let's understand the ground reality, or what we are facing over here, and what is going on a social media. It is completely different. you know Social media, probably it can travel really far, but it doesn't have a depth. It's very shallow. If you want to understand what today we are doing and why this agitation has grown so much, then you need to understand the ground reality, why this mobilization. You need to understand a lot of aspects which cannot be probably explained, or which cannot be described, which there are few which can be felt, and you'll feel it once you are here with us. And second part of it is that If I've been trolled or I've been appreciated or somebody's kind of writing, bad stuff about me, that doesn't bother, because the moment you know that you're standing for a cause and you have a truth within you, that's not going to bother, you know. And be it, because when you're fighting the existing system or the establishment, you got to have a lot of belief within you that I know there can be consequences in terms of that, somebody can harm, somebody can put you behind bars, because you know how the entire system works. But then you got to be ready for it, and that's how we are. That's what we are. If you are standing by the truth, so that power comes within you, and that's the metaphysical aspect of a human being, which, like I said, cannot be explained. It is something which we feel, and it comes from God.
And the one last question that people are asking: will you stand by other causes that Punjab has
Mostly,
many other issues? Will you be
it's
standing to fight for them, or
not
will
only
you be?
Punjab. It's not only Punjab. Anywhere humanity is suffering, I'm gonna be there, because trust me, I've also got evolved with this agitation. And today, where I am, that tomorrow, if there is something in Maharashtra, something in Gujarat, somewhere, you know, even abroad, internationally, we should go. And that's what we were taught. That's what our values are, and that's what our gurus have taught us. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's taught us. So one should have that kind of human side uh, within us. So I think I should do it, because now I've become a face.
And Deep, when do you see this protest go end? It's going to stretch long. You think what is the consensus you're expecting of this protest which
See,
is going
that's a
on?
very that
We see
it's
close.
like I said, it's a deadlock, and it's a very dangerous situation at the moment. Why I'm saying dangerous? It is, in fact, we don't want any kind of crackdown from state. We don't want them to take some kind of action in terms of that they start firing and stuff like that, because people, see, I don't want today, as one of the face of this protest, that anybody is getting harmed. In fact, we at night walk through all over the protest site and make sure that there is not even one person getting threatened or inconvenience is being caused or anything of that side, which can be termed as violence, from our side. But we don't want government to take some hard stand on us. So I think the serious dialogue is the only way out, and then some kind of relaxation from both sides is the only way out.
You're
That we
hoping for some
break this.
consensus. You're hoping for
Yes,
some consensus soon.
absolutely. I mean, I believe that both sides should understand, and we should strike a consensus.
Thank you so much, Deep. Thank you for coming and sharing your views, and thank you for also standing by people, because whatever said and done, how much of voices come against you, for you taking up a step and doing it itself takes a lot.
Yes,
Thank you.
sure. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you, Deep.